Hello everyone, my name is Christian Mojay. I'm 25 years old, I live in Florida, and I have Friedreich's ataxia. And I was diagnosed at the age of 8 years old, now I'm 25, so I've been through it.
So Christian, was it an easy diagnosis journey for you?
So, interestingly for me, it was because I have a twin sister, and so she was diagnosed at the age of 8 years old because at that time she was symptomatic of the disease, and so after her diagnosis, we met with a genetic coordinator or something like that, and then they advised us that everyone in our family should be tested, and then it came back that I had the disease, and my brother was a carrier for the disease, but I was asymptomatic at the time up until I was around 14 or 15, and then at that point I was having difficulty on a balance beam in gymnastics, but I was not like, oh, I'm just clumsy, like a lot of people would assume. I was like, oh, I know what this is.
Christian, would you like to tell people what job you do?
Yes, like many of you, I work in research, so I'm actually in my 4th year now of my PhD, and it is in genetics and genomics. I actually study Friedreich's ataxia in the laboratory at the University of Florida in Gainesville. Go Gators! I have a twin sister as well, and she doesn't work. As you can imagine, the disease is more progressed in her than it is for me, as she was showing signs of the disease at 8 years old. So now she lives at home with my parents and depends on them for all aspects of daily living. And I was actually very touched, as well as my mother, when we saw the video that Walter showed us of the automated system to help bring back people's speech because she can no longer speak. And so, yeah.
What came first, the contact with ataxia or the interest in science?
I would say my interest in science came first, but at that time, at the time of being little, I was very interested in very intricate, small things, right? Which is very fitting because now that's what I study. But at the time, as a child, the smallest, most intricate thing that you can think of is an ant. So I used to adore insects, and that is what I always wanted to study. And then when I got to high school, and I kind of learned about this whole world of smaller things that are more intricate, I was like, wow, maybe I want to study that. So that's sort of one of the reasons that I study Friedreich's ataxia in the lab, is because it is very intricate. But I would say it's definitely not a coincidence that I do study Friedreich's ataxia, because like Walter said, there's multiple different neurological disorders, and there's lots of different things that you can study. And I just studied Friedreich's ataxia because I have Friedreich's ataxia, and it happens to be very cool.
Do you think that it makes your colleagues in the lab more committed to their studies to have somebody with Friedreich's ataxia working beside them?
So that's an interesting question, because I come from a toxicology laboratory. I do CRISPR, hopefully CRISPR perturb-seq, and they utilize that for determining toxicant responses, susceptibility, resistance. And so that being said, no one studies any human disease or literally any human stuff. It's mainly other things that are being studied. But I would say just being around me and seeing me being more dedicated to my research and going to work and doing these things despite having a disability, hopefully that helps to galvanize them and make them work a little bit harder. So I would say yes, but I don't want to be narcissistic.
So you have a lot of opportunity to be involved in ataxia research. The rest of the panel aren't scientists. Christian, I believe you're on Sky Claris.
Yes, I am on Sky Claris. I began it in November of last year on the 11th, so it's been roughly exactly a year. So I would say that being on Sky Claris, it's definitely helped me to coordinate my speech when I speak eloquently. I would like to say I do myself because I'm me, but I would say Sky Claris has helped me facilitate the way that I speak, because I was becoming very slurred in my speech. It was very hard to coordinate my all of those oral muscles. You don't really think about that. You don't think about it until you can't do it, and then you're like, whoa, crazy. And I would say it also affects me because it helps me be less fatigued, and I know that everyone on this panel deals with fatigue, and it's a big thing, so it does help in that. But I will say that maybe on the outside and from other people it might not look like anything is happening, but I assure you, it helps. So the future is always very optimistic and hopeful. I would say for a regular person, it's always something great to look forward to. As someone with a rare disease, it is very uncertain, and so that's a little bit scary. But we remain hopeful and optimistic thanks to all the research that is being done from people like you and people like me. And so hopefully other things will come about, but it's definitely, like was said in the speech before us, it's definitely the golden age, because everything is, I know we've always said like, oh, it's just around the corner, but no, it's finally just around the corner. Yeah, so
even though we don't know how big that corner is.
Yeah, it seemed to be a circle for quite a while, but now there's a corner. Yeah.
Does anybody feel that they've had anything positive? I know that ataxia really challenges people's lives.
Yeah.
But occasionally, even out of difficult challenges, good things come. Does anybody feel that there is anything positive that has come into their life as a result of having ataxia?
So I would say it's definitely, I know a lot of these things are going to be said again, but I would say that it definitely helps improve your perspective on things. And so you're a little more sympathetic to other people. You're a little bit more understanding about, oh, there might be some other variables that are impacting other people's lives. You're much more empathetic and sympathetic towards people and their lives. And also it allows you to meet a lot of really cool people that are really, really nice. And I would say that it helps you just be a better person and be more mindful and be more like open to others' perspectives, as yours is constantly changing.
Jay?
Echo exactly what Christian said. I think you put it very, very eloquently, so thank you.
Ed, anything to add?
Yeah, I think, because of that awareness, you end up getting closer to other people, either in the same community, up the ataxia community, or other disabled communities, and by helping each other out and providing that support, you know, it puts you in a good position to keep echoing the stuff and making sure everyone's aware of what they can and can't do, get, etc. So yeah, sort of, it's putting you closer. In a lot of cases, there's people worse off than you, and you can end up supporting them, providing that support.
The scientist is too busy to be involved in a patient group.
You'd think, but no. It's a very big aspect of my identity, and hopefully other people with our disease or diseases like ours gravitate towards patient groups because they are so important not only to your mental health but also to allowing you to access a lot of things that you wouldn't be aware of. So I'm most prolifically involved in the Reduced Ataxia Research Alliance, or FARA. And me and my sister have been involved with raising funds for research since the age of 8 years old, which is when we were diagnosed. So my mother, who's here today, actually dove headfirst into sort of combating the disease, and so we immediately became familiar with FARA, and since then we've raised a plethora of money as well as participated in numerous clinical trials and research studies to help combat the disease, do everything we can. So I'm very happy that patient groups exist, and hopefully they won't have to, but until then I'm very happy they exist and I hope they continue to exist.
Do you have any message to this meeting, to these people, Barony?
Well, I mean, it's rather a common message, but keep on going. And maybe even stronger. Yeah, if it's possible, because we understand it's rather a high conversion world where you're working on. But if you can collaborate more between several teams, and sometimes do not hesitate to ask questions to patients or advocacy groups, because we can provide measure or things to look for, notably fatigue, tiredness. I don't know how to say it. Yeah.
Ed, anything you want to say?
Firstly, thank you to all of you, like the research, and I think we touched on it earlier, the research point of view, and lots of people are keen to get involved and sort of help doing it. But it would just be sort of having spoken to a lot of people in support groups. I think a lot of people still don't quite understand what research might entail from them. They think sort of science, they think going to a clinic setting. But actually, in some cases, it's a simple online questionnaire that takes 5 minutes, and all that information is crucial to what might be being researched. So every little helps, I assume.
Jane?
Yeah, again, thank you firstly for the help you give us. It's actually for me quite overwhelming. I've not been involved in anything like this, so it's good to see that so many people are working to help us, and hopefully the other way around, it's good for people that are doing the research to see people like us and the people that actually helps. So again, just carry on, keep going, and we're all working towards the same aim, so we'd always welcome, if there is something that we can do to help, please get in touch with Ataxia UK and we can make that happen.
Christian, message for colleagues?
I would say, of course, and I'll reiterate, thank you. What you do definitely impacts the lives of us and other people affected by rare diseases and ataxia specifically. I would say thank you for all those late nights in the lab. Thank you for going in on the weekend. Thank you for everything that you guys do. And even if it feels like you're doing nothing or you have no results or anything, just know that you are adding hope to this world. And so all of us with our disease, although our future might be uncertain, it is hopeful. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure you can hear that people are very appreciative of the fact that you have been willing to come and share your stories with them. We hope that you will take back these stories, and when you are in the lab on a weekend, remember how urgent this work is, because it affects people every day of their lives. Thank you very much, and thank you.